Mariya Anatolievna, Kostikovici, Belarus. Greetings, dear Zane, and my dear American friends. You asked me to write about the war. Although it is hard to relive those painful days, I will shake up my brain and go back to my distant wartime childhood. War and children of war. Dreadful words, but you cannot escape them. In order to save ourselves from the advancing Germans, we are evacuated on a train. Our escape to the east. The train whistle blows and we are moving. How heavy, how anxious are our hearts. None of the Jewish families have ever left their homeland. We've left behind our elderly parents who would soon be burned alive. Everything we own, all that is dear to us, we've left behind, including our ancestors buried in the sacred Jewish cemetery surrounded by pine trees. We've locked our hut and taken the keys. We're coming back soon. We wanted to think so. We hear the roar of the enemy planes. The roar becomes louder and louder and, oh, what horror. Bombs are pouring from the sky. We see craters in the ground from the explosions. The moaning of the wounded blends with the moaning of the earth. Suddenly, a bomb hits our train and blasts through the rear of the car. The train bursts into flames. We are in the front, which saves our lives. Noise, pandemonium, the moaning of the wounded. Everyone is flailing about. People grab their children and jump out. The wounded fall, get up, and run, stumbling over the dead. Blood. Blood is everywhere. But no one screams. We all freeze, stiff and numb with terror. Mothers cover their children's faces, some with the palms of their hands, others with the hems of their dresses, and some simply bury their children's faces in their laps. Children should never see blood or bodies torn to pieces. Someone shouts, "There's a forest on the right. Grab the kids and run." We look back. A forest. We grew up surrounded by forests, and we're not afraid of wild animals. We loved our wildlife. Whenever we went berry picking in the woods, we were always careful to leave some berries in the forest clearing for the animals. This enemy that came to our land is more terrifying than any wild beast in the forest. We rush to the forest for safety. Some run, some crawl. The slow ones are pulled by others. Small children are carried on their mothers' backs. Older ones run, holding on to their mother's skirts. Even the youngest understand. In the woods ahead, there is life. Behind us are exploding bombs, fire, blood, and the moaning of the dying. The screeching bombs continue to fall, destroying everyone and everything as we finally reach the forest. Not all of us make it, but our family does. We fall to the ground and try to disappear into the earth so that we can't be seen from the sky. We hear a burst of machine gun fire. Now German troops are combing through the forest. finishing off the people who are trying to run away. We lie in a ditch, afraid to breathe. There are 2 babies with us. They are both ill and want to cry. The young mothers look down at their babies in silence, their eyes full of horror. They're terrified that the babies will scream, which would mean a death sentence for everyone. If the babies cry, we will all die together. They try to keep their infants' mouths closed with their hands, but can't manage much longer. There is a young man among us, covered in mud from head to toe, but very handsome. Only later did we learn his name, Chaimke. Chaimke understands how the mothers feel. After all, he had his own mama somewhere. He is very quiet and looks intensely at all of us. That look pierces our hearts as we lie on the ground, terrified. He was saying goodbye to his mother in his soul. He crawled away on the muddy ground toward the gunshots and the German curses. Suddenly, we hear his voice, loud and clear. We raise our heads and see our Chaimke with a group of SS soldiers. Chaimke is pointing away from us and telling the Germans, Juden, Juden. The Germans follow him. Then a burst of gunfire and all is quiet. For his bravery, Chaimke paid with his life. Having killed enough Jews for one day, the Germans considered the operation finished. They had done their jobs well, and it was time for them to eat, to stuff their faces with food. We crawl to our fallen hero and lie beside him for a long time, not moving. Only the earth moans. We are silent. To our surprise, the babies who saved us with their silence are now asleep. But this isn't the silence of peace. This is not the way children are supposed to sleep. Infants need to hear the peaceful silence of the earth. Hush! A human child is sleeping. This is the true hymn of the earth. But how many infants were among the 6 million Jewish lives? Their everlasting sleep did not bring peace to this earth. Our Savior didn't even leave us his last name, our Chaimke. Young, muddy, covered with bloody dirt from head to toe. So handsome, so bold, so dear. Our Chaimke wanted to live as much as we did. It is said that a person never really dies as long as just one person remembers him. There is no last name, but we will remember our Chaimke until our last breath. Kisses, Mariya Anatolievna.